Adaptive. Graceful. Beautiful. Strong. Cute. Dangerous. Intelligent. Fast. In the heart of Disney's Animal Kingdom, a unique experience awaits those seeking a deeper connection with nature's gentle giants. Join us as we venture behind the scenes on the Caring for Giants tour. Elephants are highly intelligent and social creatures, known for their strong family bonds and complex communication. Did you know they can recognize themselves in a mirror?
We have 7 females and 2 male elephants. So Jabali over there is our 13-year-old bull, and then 43 years old is McLean, or Mac, goes by Mac. I think he's probably hanging out in the West Yard today. He is 13,000 pounds. It's huge. So when it comes to breeding, I guess we can talk about that. When it comes to breeding, that species survival plan, it's a group of geneticists that makes the calls that you want the most genetic diversity, right, to have a healthy population so that they don't have all the same genetics and then they face a disease and then they're all kind of screwed, right? They make the calls of this male and this female can breed. It can be within the same zoo or it can be within another AZA zoo, and that's when they send animals to other locations. Or luckily for elephants, artificial insemination is very successful. About 50% of our births have been AI, the other 50 have been natural conception, so that's very neat. How old do elephants live? A pretty long time, about 40 years. They're generational periods. That is why they're facing like lots of threats, right? Yes, they're being poached and things like that, but if you're trying to bring the population up, it takes a long time for them to reach sexual maturity at about 10, 12 years old. It takes 22 months for the gestation period. So it's a very long time. They can live well into their 40s, 50s. There are some elephants that have been documented to live to like their 70s. That's not the most common thing. That's like humans living into 80s, 90s up there. But
the Caring for Giants tour offers a unique opportunity to learn about these magnificent animals and the dedicated team that cares for them. It's an experience that will leave you with a newfound appreciation for elephants and their importance in our world. By choosing to participate in responsible tourism experiences like the Caring for Giants tour, we can contribute to the well-being of animals and their habitats. Together, we can make a difference. 100% of proceeds from Caring for Giants goes to the Disney Conservation Fund.
But baby Kora, she's just turned 1 year on the 13th. Oh, she's hurtling over here. Okay.
Climbing on the rocks. How much does the baby weigh?
How much does the baby? She is just at about 800 pounds now, at a year old. She was born at 218 pounds. How tall? To me, she gets to like right here. But another characteristic she has is her very long legs. She looks like an AT-AT from Star Wars. She has so long legs, and if you notice those front legs, her mammary glands are right under her armpit there. So the keepers were concerned that if baby is born and baby's not tall enough, she won't be able to nurse from mom. She won't reach those mammary glands. So even before the baby was born, we started to train a reach behavior. So we would ask her to reach, which was kind of extend her forward arm just a little bit so that it would be a little closer to the ground. And then they designed like a 9-inch steps to like a concrete block that's about 9 inches off the ground for elephants to use. Within 24 hours, Corra learned that if she stands on that block, she'll be able to access the milk. Now, obviously, she's well tall enough to be able to nurse on her own. That's actually one of the benchmarks that they want to see before they come out on stage. So Corra was born on December 13th last year, but she didn't make her grand appearance out to the safari out here until about February. It might have been February, maybe March, probably February. They called it Coronation Day, and there's several milestones that they want to reach before they do that, right? making sure they can hold their own in the water, right? We have a pool here that's big enough to submerge 3 of our adult elephants.
How long do they nurse?
It kind of depends on mom and baby. They can nurse anywhere from 3 to 5 years.
So 5-ton elephants, tiny little bees.
Yes, bees. They're scared of bees. Elephants are scared of bees. That's actually one thing that the Disney Conservation Fund, one project that we're supporting, because a big threat that elephants face, human-wildlife conflict. Has anyone heard of this concept, right? People trying to make a living, but then wildlife interfering with one way, shape, or form. Has anyone tried to garden here and like your tomatoes get eaten by birds or rabbits?
Tiger lily tomatoes.
Your ear take things like that, right? Same thing, but on a much grander scale. There is herds of elephants that are known to crop raid, which they come into a farm and they eat anything, right? Which makes sense. If you're trying to find 300 pounds per elephant and you're a herd of 25 elephants, you got to travel lots of stuff. You got to go find your food, right? But if you're a farmer that faces a herd of crop raiding elephants, that can be disheartening. That's anywhere from like a month to 3 months worth of income, depending on how much they eat. That can lead to a lot of retaliatory actions that can be harmful, sometimes even fatal for both elephants and humans. So the Elephants and Bees Project, one thing, that box over there that's hanging on the far side over there is actually a replica of a bee box. A farm that participates in the Elephants and Bees Project has anywhere from like 8 to 25 of those boxes, just depending on the size of the farm. And then they scatter them on the perimeter of the farm, and they attach rope or wire from one bee box to another one that may be 10 or 15 yards away, so that when the elephants come in, it shakes those bee boxes, the bees get agitated, and then they come out, make noise. They might attack. African honeybees are relentless. They sting multiple times, and then they release a pheromone that like alerts the hive to go and attack. So reasonably so, those elephants dislike bees.
Do we know where the initial discovery was that the sound of a buzzing bee scares an elephant away?
It was in Kenya that they did a lot of research. I believe it's Dr. Lucy, who is the head of the conservation group called Save the Elephants. And one of our researchers here, his name is Dr. Joseph. He does a lot of research, or did a lot of research on our elephants in particular, seeing how they vocalize. So they do a lot of subsonic vocalizations, which is hard to hear with the human ear. They do have the stereotypical like trumpets, they do roars and grumbles, but a lot of it is subsonic. So he had a lot of high-tech equipment, and Dr. Lucy actually asked him to go over to Kenya to use his equipment to study wild elephants and how they vocalize. One thing that they noticed while doing that study is elephants would like strip trees of everything, of all the greenery, and they would leave certain trees with everything. They started to wonder like, well, why aren't they touching that tree? Like, what's going on? Well, that tree had a hive of wild African honeybees. So then they figured that out. So one thing that Dr. Joseph did, he like placed microphones in the trees that had bees, and then from a distance you like throw rocks or things to agitate the bees, and then you get the bee buzzing noise on the speaker, or you save that file because you had a microphone there. And then he would kind of gaslight the elephants. So you would place speakers in the bush of Africa, and then when the elephants would get close, you press on the iPad and it's bee buzzing noises, and then the elephants would hear the buzzing noises and they would actually walk away. Yeah. And then another thing that they found out, that when they would leave, they would actually vocalize like a warning signal to other elephants, like, hey, there's danger around.